Hi, everybody. Chris here. I wanted to tell you a story that I don't tell very often, and for reasons you'll discover as we go along. But when I was in my mid-20s, I was struggling badly. My relationship with alcohol and drugs had taken me to a very dark place, and I wasn't doing well at all. And during this time, because she was worried about me, my mother gave me something that would change everything. It was a cassette tape by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And for those of you unfamiliar with Wayne Dyer, he was a well-known motivational spiritual speaker who wrote books like Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, The Power of Intention, and Your Erroneous Zones, the book that first made him famous. And he was known for quotes like, if you believe it will work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you'll see obstacles. And I started listening to this tape during my commute to work. I was taking in Dyer's teachings, and over time, I began to put them into practice. And within about 6 months of consistent listening and trying to put the things I was learning into practice, my life began to change dramatically. First, I entered recovery and I got clean and sober. And then the following 6 to 12 months, my financial situation improved considerably due to various changes I was making at the time. So why don't I tell this story very often? Well, here's where it gets complicated. I've become well versed in the legitimate critiques of manifestation and law of attraction and the thinking that goes along with it. And these critiques give me pause in sharing my experience because there are, I believe, real problems with some of the teachings, right? First, there's the individualization of responsibility. Manifestation teachings often erase structural conditions like poverty or racism or colonialism or patriarchy by implying that outcomes are purely a matter of mindset. This thinking risks aligning with neoliberal or individualistic logics of self-optimization. And second, the universal metaphysics influenced by New Thought tends to take the position that universal truths like thoughts create reality, which runs counter to a post-structural emphasis on pluralism, contingency, and situated knowledge. So third, these teachings can silence suffering. By privileging positive thinking, manifestation can invalidate pain, grief, and struggle. It risks becoming a moralizing discourse where people are told they manifested their problems or blocked their blessings, deepening shame or blame. And finally, there's the commodification problem. The contemporary manifestation industry packages spiritual practices into consumable products, reinforcing capitalist logics rather than disrupting them. And I'm deeply aware of these critiques, and I don't want to promote harmful thinking, but I also can't ignore my own lived experience. So, how have I come to realize there are some positives that we can take from manifestation? Well, I kind of look at it through a post-structuralist lens, meaning I look at narrative agency, right? Manifestation offers people a way of storing themselves into possibility. It resists fatalism and gives language for imagining futures not yet visible. From a narrative therapy perspective, it's a form of reauthoring. It's just structuring one's desires into a coherent, future-oriented storyline. And second, it's a performative force. Post-structuralist thought recognizes that language doesn't just describe reality, it shapes it. Manifesting is essentially speech acts at work. Narratives, affirmations, visualizations, and practices that orient our bodies and actions towards certain outcomes. And finally, hope is resistance. In contexts of structural discouragement or constraints, manifestation can operate as a counter discourse that restores a sense of possibility. It's less about magical thinking, though magical thinking can be worthwhile at times, for sure, and more about nurturing conditions for action by refusing the dominant storyline of limitation. So I've come to look at manifestation through a lens of both and. A post-structuralist embrace can frame it less as a metaphysical law and more as a discursive practice. a set of stories and rituals that shape how we move, perceive, and act. In this sense, my mother giving me that Wayne Dyer tape wasn't about buying into a universal truth. It was about borrowing a story that temporarily widened my horizon of possibility. And within that expanded horizon, I was able to act and change my life. The key isn't to dismiss the structural realities that shape our lives, nor to ignore the privilege that allows some people more room for manifestation than others. Rather, it's to hold space for the power of narrative and hope while remaining critically aware of the systems that we are operating within. Sometimes we need permission to imagine differently. Sometimes we need a story that helps us see beyond our current circumstances. And sometimes that story, however imperfect its packaging, can create the conditions of real change. Peace.